Faltando un minuto, están 0-0. Tomó la pelota sereno en su acción, gambeteando a todos, enfrentó al arquero y con fuerte tiro quebró el marcador.
With 1 minute to go, they are 0-0. He took the ball, serene in his action, whirled around everyone and faced the goalkeeper. And with a strong shot, the defender broke.
Hello, today we listen to El sueño del pibe, a recording of Osvaldo Pugliese from 1945.
Hello everyone to our 4th episode of Around the World in 80 Tangos. Today from Berlin, like always.
And as you might have noticed, this was a sort of a football reportage. These were the last words of the song, El sueño del pibe, which means the dream of the boy. And it's about a boy who dreams of leaving his miserable conditions, and he promises his mother that he will get rich and famous and buy her a house.
Uh-huh. And there are also other recordings, right?
Yes, there's another recording of this song by the orchestra of Ricardo Tanturi with Enrique Campos, but also a very notable recording of Diego Maradona. He has a very nice singing voice, and of course it's his song because he fulfilled this dream.
Of course. And now with the singer of the piece is Roberto Chanel. What a name.
Yes, Roberto Chanel. His original name was Alfredo Mazzocchi, an Italian name, but it didn't sound so well for a singer, so they changed his name into this flashy perfume name, Roberto Chanel.
Honestly, it's because of the perfume.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So Roberto Chanel left the orchestra in 1948, right?
Yes, he left the orchestra because he was fed up with all the political suppression of the orchestra. So due to political circumstances and because of Osvaldo Pugliese's political conviction, Osvaldo Pugliese went to jail many times, I think a dozen times. And also the players in his band and the audience and the organizers were also under repression. So Chanel was just fed up and he left the orchestra. Some years later he came back, but Osvaldo Pugliese refused to take him back because he had his principles.
Yeah, what a man, Osvaldo Pugliese. So Osvaldo Pugliese organized his orchestra quite in a communistic style. I mean, he was also a political man.
Yeah, if you call a communist somebody who's saying the one who's not working shall not eat, this is like the harsh rule of Soviet communism or Chinese communism. But in fact, it was a cooperative. So the musicians gained like a point system. They gained point depending on how much they contributed to a performance, like an arrangement, a composition, a solo. And sometimes any other musician could gain more in a gig than Osvaldo Pugliese himself.
And I hear that the story of when he formed his first orchestra, that he was in jail in this time, and it was not really clear when they had the first performance on stage. It was not clear if Osvaldo Pugliese can join the orchestra, right?
That's right. He was released from jail some days before they had the premiere on Corrientes, and that was good luck. And in the cases when he was in jail, his players used to put a red carnation on the desk of the piano. When I started to dance tango in the early 90s, I didn't hear any of these early Puglieses. Mostly the DJs in this time played the hardcore stuff from the 50s and 60s, which people knew from the tango shows. And this music, which I like especially, came only late to the attention of the DJs.
Yeah, I can remember when I started in the end of 90s. Yeah, I was no hardly. I have never heard these songs from the early Pugliese, and then later on, when I start to DJ, I talk with some DJs and dancers, and they say, "No, Pugliese, you can't play in a milonga," and I say, "Yeah, but they are so nice pieces from the 40s," and most of them said, "No, really?" And I remember a small story when we were in Finland and sitting around the table with some other DJs, and then we were listening to these songs, and they say, "Oh, I've never heard this." So please, DJs of the world, play more Pugliese from the 40s. Lovely stuff.
And also the other recordings, of course.
Of course.
And we will talk more about Osvaldo Pugliese in other episodes of this podcast, because this orchestra has a very unique feature. For example, they have long-standing musicians. Some of them played more than 20 years with this orchestra, and this stable organization of the band really created a quality in the music, in the playing, how they work together, which was unique. But here we are already at the end of our podcast.
That was Around the World in 80 Tangos, the journey through a Pugliese piece today.
Episode number 4. Stay healthy, stay home, and hear you soon.
Bye-bye.